Hey, have you ever noticed how something as simple as selecting a date can make or break your entire app experience? Think about the last time you booked an Uber ride, that smooth calendar swipe to schedule your pickup, or when you made a flight reservation and effortlessly picked your departure and return dates, or even when you ordered food delivery and selected your preferred delivery time. Hmm, that seamless experience you barely think about. That's what we are diving into today. Behind those simple taps lies sophisticated Android development that I'm gonna present today. Hi, I'm Harshavardhan, currently pursuing my BTech degree in the stream of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning. Today, gonna explain about Android pickup implementation in Kotlin. Before moving ahead, we will first see the presentation roadmap to master the date pickup. First of all, we will see what is meant by date picker, components and its importance in modern applications. Then we will go to the modern implementation, which mainly focuses on material design three benefits, project setup and XML layout design. Later we will go for the core functionality, implementing single date and date range selection using Kotlin. And then we will go for the advanced features and best practices like validation, constraints and real world examples. Finally, we will conclude our presentation with some future scopes and real world examples. Now we are seeing the Android date picker component. So, what is a date picker? At its core, a date picker is a pre-built UI component that allows users to select dates in a standardized, user-friendly way. It's essentially a visual calendar interface that pops up when your app needs date input, ensuring consistency and preventing errors that come with manual typing. When we break it down technically, think of its Android built-in date selection assistant that prevent typos like February 30, handle localize it automatically, provides visual calendar that everyone can understand. When we say about real-time necessity, we can think like this. Accurate date input is essential for core application functionalities such as booking, scheduling, and logging events. Now we're gonna see the differences between traditional and material design 3 date pickers. Android offers multiple styles, but the material design 3 approach provides superior aesthetics and functionalities. So we will go by the features. The first feature is design. When we come to traditional date picker, it often uses rotating spinner or older dialog style, while Material Design 3, Material Date Picker, use modern, full screen or dialog view which grid calendar selection. When we go for theming, traditional date picker is limited in customization and often tied to device theme. But Material Design 3 is fully customizable to applications material you theme. When we go for the functionality, traditional date picker is primarily single date selection, while Material Design 3 supports single date, date range, and text input mode. Finally, when we look into accessibility, traditional date pickers requires more manual configuration for full accessibility, whereas Material Design 3 is built-in accessibility compact. Now we will be seeing the advantages of Material Design 3. As we know, all of us are very much fond of aesthetic and attractive interfaces. Material Design 3 is having modern UI UX that leverage the latest design languages for a beautiful, responsive interface that adapts to the device settings. And also it enhances the accessibility which are designed with high contrast, large touch targets, and full keyboard navigations compliance from the start. It gives us platform consistency, ensuring a coherent experience across different Android devices and versions, reducing the fragmentation issues. And it is also having a built-in validation, easily set up date constraints to handle and simplify data integrity. Now, before diving into the main concept, we will just have a project setup, the dependencies and configurations. So before implementation, we should ensure our project is configured for Material Design 3 components. Accordingly, we need to update Gradle dependencies. We need to add the necessary material component libraries to your module's build.gradle.kts files. So now I'm going to explain you about the main components in this part. The first two libraries, libs.androidx.core.cottonx and libs.androidx.appcompact, are foundational libraries that every modern Android app needs. They provide essential Kotlin extensions and backward compatibility. Then here comes the star of show, the Material Design Library. This is what gives us access to beautiful Material Design 3 date picker component. You might notice I have it twice. That was during debugging, but the key point is this library provides all the user component, including our date picker. So now we will be seeing the XML layout design triggering the picker. A common pattern is using a text input layout with a disable edit text to display the selected date, which triggers the picker on click. So this is a little part of the code snippet for my XML file. I'm going to explain you the major XML components and their necessity for the interface. So the first structure is that I used a scroll view wrapped around a linear layout to ensure our content is scrollable or smaller screens. This is crucial for good user experience across different sizes. Then I have used material card view instead of regular layouts. This gives us those beautiful cards with shadows, rounded corners, and elevation effects exactly like you see in the modern apps like Keep or Google Photos. Now, let me show you how I designed the user interface for our date picker demo app. This XML layout creates the beautiful modern interface you see on the screen. Now, when we break down the key components, the scroll view that I have used here is wrapped around a linear layout to ensure our content is scrollable on smaller screens. This is crucial for good user experience across different sizes. Then I came for the Android material card view, which is completely different from the regular layout. This gives us the most beautiful cards with shadows, rounded corners, and elevation effects, exactly like you see in modern apps like Google Keep or Google Photos. Then we can see the traditional versus modern sections. I created two distinct sections where we can see a simple text view and button representing the older way where you would get a basic date and show it in plain text. Whereas I also separated the material 3 section using text input layout with text input edit text. This is the modern approach where the input field itself becomes the trigger for the date picker, just like in booking apps. Now, I have also taken color scheme where I use different text colors for aesthetics. So Now comes the thing why this layout matters. The first thing is user experience. Clear visual separation between traditional and modern approaches helps users understand the difference immediately. Modern Android development uses material components instead of basic Android widgets, ensures our app looks professional and follows design standards. It also gives accessibility with proper text sizes, colors, and spacing, making the app available for everyone, including users with visual impairment. The key message from this layout demonstrates that good UI design is just as important as good code. After the XML file implementation, now we will see Kotlin implementation for traditional date pickers and material tree pickers. This is just a code snippet for my code. Now let's dive into the brain of our app, the Kotlin code that brings our date picker to life and makes everything interactive. So, the class structure and initialization, I'm using latent variables for our view references, which is a Kotlin feature that allows us to declare non-null variables without immediate initialization. Then you can see the function show traditional date picker, which has been in Android since the early days. I get today's date using calendar.get instance to pre-select the current date. So when you observe this clearly, the lambda expression for the date selection callback, this is the modern Kotlin style that makes our code much more readable than traditional Java interfaces. The key point here is the selected month plus 1 is important because Android count months from 0 to 11, not 1 to 12. Then we are jumping to show material date picker where which that follows the builder pattern. This is much more flexible and allows us to customize picker easily. So when you clearly observe here, I'm using simple date format to convert the millisecond timestamp into human readable date. The local get default ensures the date format matches the user's region settings. So now the key programming concepts demonstrated is Kotlin features like lambda expression for clean callback handling, string templates like $variable, late initialization. Then comes the Android architecture with view binding, frame, fragment manager, and lifecycle, and date handling like calendar class, simple date format, and millisecond timestamp. Comparison highlights will be traditional approach having more code, limited customization, older UI, and manual date formatting, while Material 3 approach has less code, easy customization, beautiful and modern UI, built-in best experience practices. As you can see, now we are going to launch the application. We have a clean professional interface with two main sections. The traditional date picker at the top and the Material 3 design date picker in the middle. Result display at the bottom. Now when we go for the traditional date picker demo, watch what happens when I click the traditional date picker. This is a classical Android date picker dialog that's been around for years, and you can just see the spinning wheel that I have mentioned earlier. The date is formatted in date, month, year for consistency. In the traditional section itself, the result section will be a clear label. When we just click the OK button, we can see the results there. Then if at all we go for the Material 3 Date Picker demo, we can see the modern approach. Either we can just click the button or directly tap on the text field. This is the intention for better user experience. Now I have selected the date according to my preferences and I just click OK so that I will get the date in my results. Or else, if at all you want to edit it manually, you can just go and enter the date. Now I am just changing the 11th month to 10th month, and I am just accepting this as my date. Now you can see the result here. This is how we can differentiate the traditional and material 3 design. So, moreover, when we again check for manual date change, material 3 is also providing that facility. This is how our traditional date picker and material 3 date picker works. Now we will be seeing the advanced control, validation, and constraints. Implement constraints to guide users and prevent invalid date selections and enhancing data quality. For instance, if at all a user by mistake select February 30th, that should be rejected. These kind of things should be considered every time when we just take date selections. First one is date validation. Use set selections and set calendar constraints to define permissible data ranges only future dates. For instance, a month maximum can have 30 or 31 days. And in exceptional cases like February will have 28 and sometimes 29. So we need to maintain this range. Then comes the min-max dates. Establish boundaries using calendar constraints.builder to set the minimum and maximum accessible years and date so that we will not get overwhelmed with centuries and decades. Then comes the custom validators. Implement the date validator interface for complex logic such as disabling weekends or specific public holidays. Now we are leaning to the future scope and real world applications. First thing is essential real world applications. For date pickers are critical for systems requiring precise scheduling like booking platforms, event planning, financial transaction scheduling, and healthcare appointment management. For instance, if at all you want to book a ticket for in IRCTC, any journey that you are scheduling, we will use this date picker option. AI and advanced input trends. Future enhancement includes AI-powered date suggestion based on context, seamless smart calendar integration, and alternative input methods like voice commands and gesture controls. Emerging use case and platforms. The scope extended to IoT device scheduling also, like smart home routines, integrating into AR, VR interfaces, and functional synchronization with wearable technologies. Then comes the focus on performance and inclusion, with continuous effort centered on performance optimization for fast load times and efficiency alongside strict adherence, accessibility standards for all users. Now we are summing up our presentation by the key findings in this summary. This project successfully explored the capability of the Material Design 3 date picker, yielding several key insights for implementation and user experience. In this presentation, we came across the different types of date pickers and their implementation in real world. The first key insight that we found is the modern aesthetics and user experience. The Material Design 3 date picker significantly enhances user satisfaction with its visually appealing interface, improved accessibility, and adherence to current material design standards. Then we also found the date pickers to be flexible selective modes and implemented for our user experience, which simplifies users' workflow for various application requirements. Then we saw the robust constraint implementation, which are the best practices emphasize defining clear calendar boundaries, min-max dates, and utilizing custom validators to enforce sophisticated business logic, ensuring high data quality. And then we came across the optimized performance. The component is optimized for performance, excellent responsiveness, and smooth transitions, contributing a seamless, high performance experience across different device configurations. Finally, we are concluding our presentation with the term the integration of Material Design 3 Date Picker proves to be critical upgrade, providing developers with powerful tools for sophisticated date input handling and delivering a polished, high-performance user experience. We have seen throughout the session the different date pickers and their implementations. In future, we can expect Furthermore, aesthetic user interfaces for date picker, which will be very lenient and easy for users. So hereby, thank you guys a lot for your patience. I sincerely appreciate your attention and valuable time spent in this video. And also please feel free to ask any questions or initiative any discussion on this implementation. Please do let me your queries in the comment section. Having said that, this is Harshavardhan signing off. Thank you very much.